The interesting results is this. We took all of the attacks that we had, there were 25,000, just over 25,000 attacks in total, and we resolved them down to country codes. So for every single attack, we asked ourselves the question, where has that attack come from? Which country did that attack originate in? And the interesting result is the top one, China, 48%. That's nearly 50%. The study says, effectively, that 50%, that's 1 in 2 of the cyber attacks that are happening on the internet against you, right, and me for that matter, because I'm an academic, come from China, originate in China. Now, we have to be careful about this because there are botnets out there located in China that people can rent and buy and things like that, and it's certainly possible for me to sit here with a laptop and a satellite phone and to dial into an ISP in China and launch an attack from China. But I think the numbers are quite staggering when you get up to 40% of the attacks coming from China. And it just shows the level of threat that's posed. USA number 2, yes, we'd expect that. Italy number 3, wouldn't expect that, but I have a theory. I think the reason why the Italians are 3rd is because they're miffed off with the Welsh. And the reasons why they're miffed off with the Welsh is because we beat them in the Six Nations. So they thought, right, lads, we're going to get our own back. Colombia's interesting, 6%. Germany, 5%. The other bit that was interesting is you take all of those attacks and you resolve them down, and you come up with, there were 60 countries in total, ranging from Brazil, Denmark, Russia, UK, France, Pakistan, India, Malaysia, Australia, you name it, we pretty much saw it in terms of a country code. And it shows that the internet is being used by cyber criminals all over the world to attack your networks. And so if you don't take active measures to protect your networks, really what you're doing is you're inviting these criminals in. Questions? I said I was going to be short, and I would be. Have I scared you all? Good. Yes. Sorry.
Hi. Okay, so there's lots of attacks coming in from all around the world, and there's lots of businesses in Wales, and you're not going to bring every business in Wales up to speed with securing their systems. Is there anything being done that you know of to go after these countries which are allowing these attacks to originate within their ISPs?
There's a wonderful advert that was I saw many years ago when the internet was being created, and the advert, a cartoon rather, is of a dog accessing a computer on the internet, and the caption is, on the internet nobody knows you're a dog. And the problem we have when you talk about going after these criminals, if you will, is that most ISPs don't keep logs for very long, if they log at all. And, you know, to all intents and purposes, the internet provides criminals with a level of anonymity. It's very difficult in tracing people down unless they're attacking you again and again and again and again from the same source. You know, if somebody comes in and hits you once and goes away, you really don't stand much of a chance.
Up a little bit just for questions. We are just going to take a couple of questions here before whizzing on. The lady in the front here, we're going to run a microphone to you now. Good afternoon. Welcome. Your name and your organisation, your question, please, Andrew. Yes,
I'm Doogie Standiford. I'm European correspondent for Warren Communications News in Washington, and I live in the UK. My question is, do your findings lead to any policy or regulatory conclusions?
Do your findings lead to any policy recommendations? So if you become Prime Minister in the next election, what will you do?
Yeah, pull the internet connection between China and the UK. The problem you have with the internet and the protocols associated with it is that it's designed to be very resilient. There's a common misconception out there that the internet was designed by the Americans to survive a nuclear war. That's not actually true. The internet was created by the Americans to provide access, remote access to supercomputers. Because up until then, the Americans had a bunch of supercomputers, and if you wanted to access these supercomputers, you got on a plane, you flew to where the supercomputer was, you did your work, you got your results, you flew home. Americans were spending a fortune on plane tickets, so thought, there must be a better way of doing this. So they came up with the protocol set that we understand as the internet today, TCP/IP. That protocol set is very good at reliability. It's what it was there to do. It's very good at finding routes across networks from A to B. So is there anything we can do? Not really. I would say that, you know, closer cooperation at a police level needs to take place. But, you know, it's my experience of tracking these criminals down is very, very difficult and very, very time consuming. Because to all intents and purposes, you know, the internet provides you with a level of anonymity. And unless you're a criminal and unless you're going to do something really, really stupid, criminals do stupid things, right? You know, I can tell you a horror story. There was a colleague of mine who, the organization that he works with, they had a laptop stolen. And they used the product Let Me In to manage their remote laptops. And this laptop was stolen. Didn't know where it went, reported it to the police. And then a couple of days later, they happened to notice on their management console, this laptop had appeared on the internet. And they thought, that's a bit odd. Let's have a look. So they phoned the police. Police came down. And the person who was using it had connected the laptop to the internet and was using it to access their Facebook accounts and was sending emails to their friends. So there are idiots out there. But if you like, the idiots aren't the ones that we really need to be worried about. It's the clever ones. And the clever ones make it very, very difficult to be caught. So, you know, is there anything we can do about it? I really don't know. I would draw an analogy, and I would say it took us 40 years to sort out the law of the sea. So it took us 40 years for the international community to get together to agree a set of laws related to the maritime and the maritime industry. My gut feeling is, and it's a gut feeling, is that it will take something similar for us to come up with the law of the internet, because that's really what we need to police this space, and it is a new space.
On that cheery thought, a round of applause, please, for Andrew.